One of the interesting things about the interview and Andrew's interest in her and the questions he pursued with her was that Andrew is concerned with the evolution of spirituality and the evolution of religion and what the future holds for the spiritual impulse, the human spiritual impulse. Because evolution, of course, is a new context that wasn't a part of the context of human life when most of the religious traditions came into existence. And what's interesting also about an evolutionary understanding or seeing the religious impulse, the spiritual impulse in an evolutionary context, is that that impulse and that impulse as expressed in human life is developing over time, and you can trace a trajectory of that development. And what's interesting in that context is where that development is heading into the future. But what's interesting is that Adijanki and the Brahmakumari movement comes out of a cyclical worldview. And it sees the world as progressing through these long ages, the Copper Age, the Iron Age, and now we're at the end of the Kali Yuga, which is sort of the Dark Age in their mythology and their understanding of the cycles of the world. Now, if you have a cyclical view where the culture or the life of human life cycles through these various ages and then comes around essentially back to a similar place, the question arises, well, where is this headed? What is the purpose of creation in the first place, if in a cyclical understanding of the universe? Because that would seem to be a very different understanding. What is the purpose of creation in that context? And that's what Andrew pursues with her, and that's a very interesting dynamic in the questions.